And one. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Dishin Days, where we serve you a full dish of this week's episodes of NBC's #1 hit soap opera, Days of Our Lives. I'm your host, Tony Moore, and I'm joined by my gaggle of gals. Oh, wait. Are we? Oh, we are live. Okay. For 2 seconds, I was like, oh, honey, I don't think we live, but we are. I'm joined by my gaggle of gals. We have somewhere in this screen.
Me, Michael Mattis.
Yes. Michael Mattis. And then, of course, joining us again are our two favorite guest co-hosts. Starting with ladies first, we have...
Hi, everyone. I'm Araceli. Glad to be back.
I was going to laugh out loud if Justin was... I'm Justin. Hello.
Because, listen, we have all done that. When someone's like, ladies first, I'm like, thank you. And, of course, we have...
Hey, everyone. Justin Harold here.
Yay! All right, now listen, y'all. We are going to do our best to break down this week's interesting episode.
All we can promise you for this week. We'll do our best.
It is going to be entertaining. Speaking of entertaining, hey, why don't you follow us on all social media platforms? We are Dishin Days on Facebook and Instagram, and _Dishin Days on the Twitter. The @ is in 375 days of quarantine. Baking. I thought it was funny. Also, make sure you guys, while you're here, go ahead and subscribe to our very own YouTube channel. This is the official Dishin Days YouTube channel. And go ahead and give us a thumbs up to let us know that you like it and love it and want a whole much more of it. I almost said lot, but I know James Lott Jr. is in the room. So I didn't want to say lot because I didn't want him to think that this was all about him. So I had to change it.
He thinks that anyway.
Shady Sundays, it's already off to a great start. All right, so yes, you guys, it's very important that you guys tune in and subscribe and hit the thumbs up button so that we get all the likes. Judging by the room, I don't think too many people want to talk about this week's episodes of Days, but we gonna do it anyway. So what did y'all think of this week?
What was there to think about?
Clearly
okay. So the thing about this whole Blackout storyline is it was written as filler to kind of fill a gap because with the preemptions didn't happen. So like to kind of fill these gaps, they wrote this storyline. And it's just boring as hell. Like, and I hate to say that, and we kind of just have to, get through it, but it dragged.
Yeah, for me it was a lot of, I feel like it was like not an info week necessarily, but like a lot of setup for like what's to come. And I feel like where maybe hopefully next week we'll get into like the meat of the story and things will happen. But yeah, it was just, I think it was a little bit too much setup. I think they could have given us a little something this week to kind of hold us over and make it a little bit more interesting.
Yeah. Sally?
Which I don't blame them for. They were put in a tough spot. It was almost like being so far ahead was even put them in more of a jam than the pandemic itself. It was weird. So I get why they did that. My reactions varied from, I really only had 2 reactions to 2 different storylines, and one was ew, and the other was aw, and that was it. That was it. That's all I had.
This week was definitely a struggle, if I must say. And I think it's because it is a filler. So they kind of have to, like Justin was saying, give some sort of setup to what's happening. So I feel like that's why it was just kind of like, but I kind of wish that even though it is filler, that it just went ahead and hit, like just come out of the gate, they've escaped, things are just happening. So that way it can really drive story quicker. So that it can get to something as to like, why did these 3 people escape? Why are they where they are? Like, what is really happening? I found myself just kind of having it on in the background this week and realizing that I should pay attention so that I can pick up on what's happening so that I'm able to come here and talk about it. And there's that. So let's break it all down, y'all. It's now time to start Dishin Days.
It's so funny that hourglass looks huge now that like it's not in the studio. It looks
Yeah.
huge.
No,
Yeah,
it's actually it's pretty big. Like,
Yeah, it's pretty big.
yeah,
and it still has all of the signatures of everyone all the stars that have come in. It's starting to fade a little bit. I should kind of do something to protect it, but yeah, it's one of those things where you kind of go, well, what do you do with it once everyone has signed it?
How
I
much
think because we're
time
on
does it
Zoom,
actually
it just
have?
looks so much bigger.
I think it's a couple of hours.
Oh.
Yeah. Peter Ramos, one of our original hosts, he purchased it and thankfully left it.
Didn't take it with him.
Didn't take it with him. Well, we went in on it and then we just kind of gave him his portion back and then we kept it. So there's that little behind the scenes story that no one asked for. That filler story so that I can fill in some time on what we talking about. So let's start off with the very first storyline. We have Gwen, Rolf, Chad, Abigail, and Jake.
That was the
That was
fake
the
one.
ill.
Yeah. Mhm.
What was the ill for? What part?
Just Rolf. I was just like, man, you need Jesus. What's wrong with
He
you?
needs Jesus and the Lord himself and the Virgin
Ugh.
Mary
And a bath. Ugh.
and a bath.
But it's really honestly like Rolf, like Stefano physically is gone,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
Like you come in talking about, I need the essence of Stefano back. And it's like, no one wants to give you the essence of Stefano because he dead. Hey,
Give him
did any
Stefano.
dead? Yeah. So that whole interaction was interesting. It became more interesting when because they kept flashing back and they definitely like stretched it out.
Oh, yeah.
Until like, it basically came about that Tony and was it Andre?
Yeah.
No, it's Tony.
No, it was Tony.
Tony.
Yeah, it was
Tony. Tony and Chad burned the chip.
Can the chip burn?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can burn.
It's metal, so it can.
There was a part
Like
Metal plastic.
There was a part of me that thought that
Michael.
There was a part of me that thought that it didn't, like, they had it wrapped up in that tissue
Yeah.
and that it made it look like it was in there, but like maybe Andre like kept it.
Tony.
I did think that for a
Tony.
second. I was like, what if one of them just kept it?
One of them kept the
and,
chip.
yeah.
Yeah.
I will say for me, Chad and probably his body were the highlight of that whole storyline.
Billy still looks good without
Yeah.
some clothes on.
Oh, you talking about Billy?
Yeah.
Talking about Billy.
You can also tell who worked out in quarantine.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I will say, I was like, now listen, I'm gonna sound so bad because I feel like we always objectify people, but like, had the camera, I feel like panned up a second before.
Yes, I know what you mean. Yes.
We would have seen the top portion of it.
They cut it really close. That was a really close shot on that. I was like, I remember I was looking, I was like, wait, what? Okay. They got really close on that
because
one.
it was like right as it went up, it
went,
and I was like, Billy, you almost your chast was almost all over NBC.
It's like, thank you, cameraman. Or
Right.
camera person. Yeah.
So, but and then the whole thing of like Chad finding Rolf and then Gwen walking in and then Chad leaving Gwen with Rolf. I was just kind of like, why on earth would you ever leave the nanny?
I know.
With someone so like, I would have looked at her and said, go get my phone get do something.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna leave you here with Rolf.
Yeah.
It's not gonna happen.
Well, it's the same
Or Abigail
who hired
can eat.
Gwen in the first place.
Say what?
These are the same people who hired Gwen in the first place. So,
Well, and I was also thinking like there wasn't an intercom where they could go and be like,
Yeah.
Abigail.
"Hello, I need assistance in the
Hello?
foyer. Thank you."
are intercoms still a thing? I feel like that went out with cell phones.
I mean, I think so. I think intercoms did go out, but
Who's
like,
the butler there? Not Henderson.
it's Henderson.
No, that's the
No, that's the
Kyriakis
Kyriakis.
butler.
And
Oh.
he used to be Ileana. Remember back in the 90s? It was
Yes.
Ileana was the head housekeeper.
I think they all quit. They were like, "This is too much drama for me. Y'all doing too much. I'm just trying to be here to like wash clothes and like clean the house and like that's it. Y'all got killers coming in here. Y'all got baby snatchers. Y'all dying and coming back to life. I am out." But I will give kudos to the staging of Ralph's escape. Like that was good staging.
Mm-hmm.
And I almost thought for 2 seconds that Eli, Lonnie, and Shawn D had caught Gwen because they were looking at the security footage. But then I guess maybe they didn't.
Yeah, their reactions were like, "Oh, they definitely saw something," or
Yeah.
Well, would the
typical
security
takeout.
footage work in a blackout?
I mean, they
Night
could be a
vision.
backup. I mean, it's the Demiras. They probably have a backup something or something.
Yeah.
I mean, that's also a good thought, Sally. I mean, I was trying to think like what would work in a like cell phones were still working. I mean, I guess cell towers aren't like I don't know. I'm not electrical.
Cell
No.
towers?
Oh, Harold. Harold was the butler for the Demiras.
Harold, that's right.
Thank you, Gail G.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know. And then Gwen and Abigail were planning the party, but Abigail
planning
wasn't
the party.
in it.
This better
And
be
planning
some
the
kind of party.
I still think that it's a setup for something big. Like anytime they have a party that's being planned thoroughly like this, it's a setup for something big.
We're gonna get a reveal of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
I hope so, because for the amount of time we spent talking about this party, I just like if this is like the type of party that you talk so much about that when it's finally time to go there, I'm like,
Okay, do you guys remember when Hope and Aiden were planning that gala? Like months.
School.
And then we got to the gala and all we saw were them watching it on TV and there was no gala. I was like, what the
But that's where but isn't that the clip they kept using over and over again to show like when they started falling in love with each other and it was the Hope eyebrow?
Sure. I just remember the months of planning and we got nothing. And I was
it reminded me of the Mother of the Year party that they kept mentioning. I'm like, oh, this is reminding me of just that buildup of it, of like the party we're planning.
But with that party with Mother of the Year, we got the party and
at least we got that was definitely an event.
But I will say that I was disappointed that Gwen was talking about taking crab cakes off the menu because I don't think people would get sick. I think people would thoroughly enjoy crab cakes.
But if they're allergic, I think it was the allergy thing. If they're like allergic to seafood, right? That was the issue, that there was an allergy.
I mean, I don't know.
I don't know. I was like, what is the planning? You're having it at Julie's place. He has a menu. Like what's the planning of it all? Like, just what
let
is
Julie do it.
Yeah, that's why I was like, and they were like, oh, you and Julie did a great job, and I was like, oh, okay. Like, what's the planning here?
This is how boring this week was. We're talking about food.
The menu.
Well, listen, whenever food is mentioned, I perk up. I'm like, because I actually wanted crab cakes. I love crab cakes, and I was like, how dare you take those off the menu? I heard nothing else in that conversation except taking off crab cakes. That's all I heard.
Mm-hmm.
And then Gwen and Jake had some interactions. Like Jake basically kind of called her out about overhearing that this was going to be like, a big party, and overheard her talking to Stefano's portrait. So but see, here's the thing that I like about the character of Jake is that he's really the one to call you out on your bullshit. And like he also is just very real and very upfront and honest. And it's like, who this person is 10,000%. And that's what I like about this character. And that's what's refreshing in Salem is that he's like a breath of fresh air. to the city,
Yes.
because he's not corrupted by anything or anyone. He's not trying to fall into the whole Dimera thing. Like, he's staying true to who he is, and I appreciate that.
And I'd really love to get Brandon Barish's take on it, because to my knowledge, he's never played a character like this before, at least not long term.
Mhm.
So I would be really interested to see how he feels about this. I really love Jake, and I love his take on it.
Yeah, he's a really relatable character for Salem. His was just refreshing and strange, and it makes him stand out just enough.
Mm-hmm.
True. Agreed. Well, that's it with that storyline, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Great. So let's move on to the next storyline, which is Sarah, Xander, Philip, Brady. I don't want. Okay, let me ask this question to the room, and you all in the chat room chime in on it too. Are we down for the Sarah, Xander, Philip triangle?
Maybe.
So we have a maybe. Sally says no. Justin?
Not a romantic one. Not a romantic one.
I'm here for a friendship between Philip and Sarah.
Yeah, I like that combination, but not.
But not like I feel like she's the one that's kind of like, oh my God, Philip, you're such a good guy. Let me hook you up with some of my nurse friends. Like, we'll go out. I feel like she's like, Patrick TV said, hell no. There's a lot of no's. Like, people are not feeling like, but I don't, because I don't feel like every guy, girl, or guy needs to be like in a relationship. But I would like for Sarah and Philip to develop some sort of friendship, and her be kind of a link to having Philip and Xander get along. But I need to know who Philip is talking to, because Brady wants to know too, because Brady walked in and overheard him talking about something, and I can't believe that he didn't like figure it out, because hello, Brady, you tried to do the same thing when you were CEO of Titan.
Yeah, but Brady, I feel like, had a legitimate reason. After all these years, Philip's just a weasel.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah. And if to my knowledge, has Philip ever, other than Shawn, like in the early 2000s, has Philip ever had like a real, honest to God, decent friendship with a person he hasn't slept with?
I think him and Chloe started off as
with friends, a person he hasn't slept with.
Well, he didn't sleep with her.
He slept with Chloe.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like when they
eventually.
Eventually.
Yeah.
Belle. Oh no, he slept with her too.
Yeah.
He was married to Belle.
His mama.
Does that count though?
He doesn't take any of her advice.
I know.
But do any of Kate's kids take any of her advice or meddling?
No, and which sucks because lately she's been giving some good advice.
True.
I know, which is not like not how Kate's supposed to be. Excuse me, but that's okay.
Someone said Nicole. Did Philip and Nicole have something?
They tolerated each other. I wouldn't say that they've ever been friends. They're connected by Chloe.
Yeah.
But they've never been friends. Like Nicole and Rafe had that really good friendship. And continue to have that really good friendship. But to my knowledge, I don't think they ever actually slept together.
No, they didn't.
Yeah.
So
like something like that.
Yeah, Philip really hasn't expanded outside of like the Last Blast crew, unfortunately. I mean, usually when they bring him back, Chloe's around and Philip and Shawn, and Belle and Shawn around. So yeah, I feel like he doesn't have a ton of experience outside of that group, unfortunately. And Melanie, but she was, we know about Melanie.
Marlon Wallace said, "This is Days. Most of the characters don't have friends. Who are Eli's friends? Who are Brady's friends? Nobody."
Kristen and Lonnie, they're friends.
Yeah, but we mean friends like on the show.
They've
like
had friends.
Yeah.
Like they've had friends. It's like I don't know that Philip has ever really had like a true friendship.
Yeah,
Brady
outside of Shawn.
Brady and Nicole are complicated, but I would feel comfortable calling them like
Yeah,
really good
they're
friends.
Yeah.
they're great friends. But they're all friends with each other. Like I need like someone that has nothing to do with nothing for them just to like go have a beer with and like okay, like Man Bun, who got Sonny to get on the app and found Leo. Like, can we just have someone like that?
Yeah.
Like when they go to the pub, they just kind of like chit chat with
regular
someone.
bartender.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like, you know, if they're at the station, like, you know, it's like, oh, hey Frank, how's it going? Oh man, Lonnie, da, 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 da. You know, just kind of like that moment, so that it's not to like
somebody.
another character. Yeah.
And so in that sense, I would be okay with Philip if he would just stop being a dodo and just get out of his own way. I think Sarah could potentially be a really good friend to him because Sarah is really chill.
Yes. But Xander is not having it.
Mm-mm.
Xander is kind of like, I got my eye on you, Philip. But like, listen, I mean, if I'm okay, I'm gonna ask the room, and you in the chat can chime in on this too. Who would you rather? Xander or Philip?
Xander.
Xander.
I mean, it's always hands down Xander for me.
Yeah.
They just
Hands on Xander.
like taking out all of the history and everything. They don't have. She doesn't have that chemistry with Philip.
Yeah, no. Not at all.
It's not there.
No, but I feel like it's there in a friendship way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe.
It's kind of yeah. I think okay. A lot. Some Camila said none. Damien said neither, but it's Xander hands down.
Yeah.
If it's between Philip and Xander, everybody going with Xander.
You know, the thing is, Xander's a character that has some redeeming qualities. Right now, Philip does not have a redeeming quality. He's just stirring up trouble, like Araceli said. He's being a dodo. He's just there causing trouble. And he hasn't presented himself as likable yet. And Xander, despite, you know, the baby switching and all the shenanigans, like he's likable because we know like he has good qualities. He has redeeming qualities. Philip right now, no.
I'm glad that we got on this friendship subject because now that we're into it, I really think that that's a big part of why Philip, really has not changed in the last 2 decades.
We ain't got no friends.
Yeah, you grow from meeting people, from, you know, people getting to know you and coming into your life and pointing out your worst qualities and saying, hey, you know, just people looking out for each other. And no one's really been looking out for Philip.
Yeah.
He's his own worst enemy. So there's no growth there.
Yeah.
I think Trevor Taylor really wants me to read this, so because he put it in all caps, but he said, "I forget back in the late '90s and early 2000s, there were a lot more people and like small characters that were friends, like the pub, the police stations, receptionist, personal assistant. Yeah, I think back in the day when maybe budgets were better.
Remember Sammy's friend Jamie?
Yeah.
Who really like her sole purpose was to be Sammy's friend.
Yeah.
And then eventually to rat her out.
And
but
so,
like for that
well, she got her
time,
storyline later, but it was
Or like Nurse Shelley. Remember Nurse Shelley?
Yeah.
No.
And Sunny and Will's friend
Shelley,
a couple years ago. What was his name?
Oh, I know
Worked
who you
with
mean.
them at
Yeah.
the coffee house.
Yeah,
Sunny
I
and
know.
Will's friend?
Yeah, I know who you mean.
Yeah, he was friends with Sunny and Will and Chad, and he worked at the coffee house. And he would when Sunny and Chad owned that coffee house back in the day. And remember that they had a whole thing where he had to get used to Will coming out, and eventually he was like really there for them.
Oh, T.
T, yes.
Yeah, T.
I loved him.
Yes.
Harlan Wallace.
Yes. Because I was like, oh yeah, I like that whole like gang of people.
Or JJ's friend Rory.
Rory. I love his little high self. He stayed high. I liked him.
Everybody needs more friends.
This is true.
No, today is more friends.
More friends. And just quickly before we wrap up this storyline, Xander basically got very jealous, and Sarah was not having it, and was just like, "You gotta go sleep in the guest room." Now listen, I just feel like when you look at Xander, just kind of quickly get over whatever argument and go, "Now listen, I'm gonna put you in a 5-minute timeout.
Right.
But when I get back, it's on."
It's a 5-minute time in.
It's gonna be a 2-hour time in.
I have expected her to be running around with a newspaper in hand.
Oh, just to like hit him.
No.
Oh my gosh.
Bad boy.
Camila just reminded me of the woman that I have been talking about for years. Maxine was like a friend to
Jennifer,
to everyone. Yeah. And she was like that person that she again was kind of like a Jake character that like called out stuff, but in a very like Southern mom way, like, you know what she doing. Which I love that. All right, and that's it with that storyline, right? All right, let's move on to Nicole, Allie, Steve, Kayla, and Tripp. Before I forget with this storyline, I had this thought of when John and whatever, I'm gonna mention it now. When John and Marlena went to the pub, and Roman wanted to know what happened to John's hand, and Marlena wouldn't say anything because she said she would have to reveal that Allie got raped. I was like, well, this is how you handle it, Nicole. Like, you kind of, I was like, she even like, and this is like Roman and Marlena and John, are really connected, intertwined in history. And even she respected Allie enough to be like, hey, like, we're not going to tell him. Allie will need to tell her own business. And I was like, you might need to text that to Nicole.
She might need to text that to Allie. Yeah.
I mean, I had the same thought, Tony. Part of me was like, I understood where Marlena was coming from. And I was like, oh, that's right. Like, respect her privacy, let her do it. And then part of me was like, doesn't half of Salem know now? And isn't it sort of out there? So it's kind of like, on one hand, you don't want to give her, you don't want to tell her business, especially considering the circumstances, but it's like, it's kind of out there. Tripp has been...
He's going to find out.
Yeah, Allie's not hiding it anymore.
Yeah, so. I was kind of like,
This well, no, more like the more people get involved, the more people know, then more people are going to talk about it.
Yeah.
But Marlena respecting privacy and everything.
Yeah.
Yes. Because at the end of the day, when you go through, well, how did you find out? You don't want your name in that.
No.
No, thank you, but no, thank you. Oh, now everyone is now mentioning all the friends that have been on days.
Eric, remember this guy?
Yes, yes. I feel like we should make that like an Instagram post or a tweet.
Moore. I can't.
Who?
Daryl Moore.
Love Derek. He was Paul's friend as well as his personal butt boy. Daryl. Oh my gosh. Anyway, back to this storyline.
I mean,
what do y'all think?
So what even happened? Like, okay, so
nothing. Absolutely nothing.
So all the DNA has been collected, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
They're still not telling Tripp.
They haven't told Tripp. Tripp's still and is the test in the process of being done?
I believe so, because
Kayla's doing it. Yeah.
Kayla's taking it and doing it and expediting it.
Right. So that's good for them.
And then Allie was all like, why would Tripp want this? Like, why would he want the truth out there? I was thinking like, girl, if I was you, I'd be more nervous because
well, I think there was a moment where now she's again starting to kind of question what she's remembering and if what she's remembering is actually what happened.
But something did happen. Now that you said that, there was this one part where Allie and Nicole are discussing it, and I couldn't believe what I was hearing. That Nicole said,
Oh yeah.
I've heard about this where people lie and tell themselves something so much that they start to believe it. And I was just like, you heard of this?
You do it.
Just like, do you not remember like the last decade? like remember when you accused Jennifer of pushing you down the stairs, and remember when you told this person this and this person that? I'm just, oh my god.
She is a changed person.
A reformed woman.
Heard of this? Like she read it in a scientific journal?
She has no recollection.
Recollection.
Oh man.
No recollection of the events in
today's
question.
Liar magazine.
Yeah.
Hello, Liar magazine. Yeah. So, and then did anything else happen?
Not that I remember.
Nope.
Y'all, this week
I know week it was like I don't even
struggle.
Yeah.
Like it was just kind of like, huh? What are
I'm
y'all
kind of
talking
loving
about?
this for John. I'm loving John though.
Oh, that's right, John.
Yeah, I'm loving like this new alter John slightly.
Where he gets angry.
very, very in touch with his emotions. Yeah.
He gets very
I'm loving this
angry.
little edge to him. He's like the Hulk or something. Yeah.
He gets angry.
He doesn't get angry. It's like it doesn't just get angry. He also gets very emotional about things. Like he was crying when he was reading the article, and it's like, so it's just like up and down all over the place.
That scene with Belle was like, what? It was like I mean I know he kept mentioning like taking the pills and stuff, because I was like, yeah, you're obviously on something right now.
Yeah.
Like his interactions with Belle were a trip.
But I was also kind of like, so it's dark and nobody knows where Marlena went. Like y'all.
John just assumed she went to see Ben because
she's with Ben at
expressed
midnight
concerned about
in
him
his hotel
earlier,
room.
so.
And I'm still confused. Why didn't, okay, two things. One, when they decided, Eli and Lonnie, to like go visit people to make sure that they were okay, my first thought was, so you gonna send the pregnant woman to the most dangerous person to be like, oh, just want to make sure you're okay, pregnant and all. And then send Eli, who didn't even check the bathroom, like no thorough check to be like,
He was like, Ben,
okay,
we're
we're
cool.
clear.
I trust you. Yeah.
Right. It's just kind of like, are you serious? And then
Ben's reformed. He's not that reformed.
well, but he's in a totally different mindset. Like
Yeah.
Sierra's gone,
Mhm.
like, he's in a different mindset. But
Also, go ahead. Go ahead, Tony.
but I was like, Marlena, you not going like, hey Lonnie, everything is okay.
Part of me was waiting for that, especially when she had the phone in her hand and the light was on. I was like, either turn that light off. It's annoying me. I thought she was gonna like signal with the phone or something. I was waiting for something to happen where she was gonna signal, and then she had the phone. I was like, okay, she's gonna like. At first, I thought when Orpheus was talking, maybe she was typing something, and then that was gonna be the trick. She was gonna show it to Lonnie or like a help me or something. But yeah.
I was just like, girl, blink twice for help or something.
Yeah.
Like, yes, Lonnie, everything is okay.
Yeah.
With any other character, I would say yes. But I think she just has such a history with Orpheus that she knows that he's usually like 10 moves ahead.
Mm.
So that's the only reason I would let her off the hook for that one, is because Orpheus is very unpredictable.
Yeah. I mean, she's
And
like, I
He
get
never
kidnapped
pulls,
once a month, so.
other than this prison break, which he's done before, he never pulls the same trick twice.
So he's not gonna burn nobody up in a coffin again, as he so casually mentioned,
Yeah.
and then had the audacity to light a match. I would have been like, don't
Like-
you light no matches around me.
Like Clyde, Rolf, very, very predictable. Like we knew exactly where they were headed, and though we knew exactly where Orpheus was headed, he never pulls the same trick twice. So
Damian Oliver in the chat room, and then we'll get to you, Justin.
I was just gonna say, yeah.
Marlena got kidnapped again at 62.
I was gonna say, what number is this for Marlena? Like the 2000 kidnapping over the last 35 years.
The shade. Me World 2 says Marlena could have sent a text to Lonnie and showed her the text, especially with Orpheus hiding 12 feet away from her and her back was facing him. Like, how is she a world-renowned psych doctor? You know what? You know what I think it is? Like, Marlena didn't look nervous around Orpheus. It was almost kind of
She's
like
used to it. She's
like
kidnapped
it again.
This is her 6-month kidnapping. She's used to it.
Or what if, you know what she could have did? Like, because everyone's like, she had the phone in her hand. Like, she could have said, help me. And just like threw the phone out.
Yeah, like if she's not in danger, if she isn't kidnapped or in danger of being kidnapped at least once a year, I would think she would get paranoid. Like, what's wrong?
Right. It's like, what's happening? Why hasn't anyone taken me anywhere?
Give her a tracker, an alert button, something.
There's no one.
Manny says to Manny in the chat room, does Marlena still have that device where John can track her anywhere?
There's no one, like, you're supposed to be able to track people these days. Does no one have that on their phones? That would be the
I mean, I don't.
first thing I put on Marlena's phone.
You know,
Marlena needs that implanted microchip that you can add.
Camila says, let's be real. Marlena low-key wants Orpheus.
Oh.
I mean, so let's
Oh, that's a whole other subject.
Let's ask this. Orpheus. Can he get it or no?
No.
No?
No.
Yeah. And I don't mean this in an offensive way. I just never thought of Orpheus in that way with anyone.
It's literally, I feel like it is one of those moments where, like, if he like ran game with someone, you'd be like,
yeah, I think he has an attraction to him. He has something.
You can have a connection with someone without it being considered an attraction. We're all like connected to people.
Mm-hmm.
I think
like,
you have to,
like magnets, kind of a thing.
You have to. Marlon Wallace said Orpheus' son could get it.
Evan Christian could get it and get it again and get it again, but not Orpheus.
Oh my gosh, that moment you realize your mom is watching.
Hi, Mama Moore.
So I mean, I think you have to like the dangerous, like, will burn you at the stake type of guy. I don't know, but okay. Anyway, I just wanted to put that because I mean we don't see him with anyone. Like, we all know that Steve killed his wife, or was it John?
No, Roman did.
Roman.
He just seems like he would be bored with anyone. If I ever tried to picture him with someone, it just seems like he would be bored.
Interesting. Sasha agreed. Evan Christian, yes, at Michael.
Yep.
Okay, well there's that. And that's pretty much it with this storyline, right?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. We are moving this train right along and keeping it as entertaining as possible. But hey, if you guys like what you're hearing and want to be a part of the conversation every Sunday at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, why don't you go ahead and click that subscribe button since you're already watching our YouTube channel right now, whether you're watching live or watching it later. Oh yeah, and don't forget to hit the thumbs up button because that way we know that you actually really like what you're seeing. And if you really like us and want to follow us and see what we're all up to, go on over and follow Dishin Days on all social media platforms. We are Dishin Days on Facebook and Instagram and _ Dishin Days on the Twitter. So tweet us, DM us, like us, follow us, subscribe. There's a lot of instructions, but guess what? I know you can handle it. Thank you so much for showing your support to all the kind folks here at Dishin Days. All right, moving on to our tidbits. We've already talked about Orpheus and Marlena. I don't think we need to go over that again. But Clyde and Ben has his own agenda. So I feel like his mind wasn't onto like whatever Clyde was saying. But how do y'all feel about Clyde asking Ben to go on the run with him?
Thought it was kind of in Clyde's own way. It was kind of nice and sweet. I think he's turned somewhat of a corner over the last couple times he's been on. And is really trying to
make up for what.
Yeah,
he even mentioned it. He like make up for the what Clyde did to him as a child.
Yeah,
and he's like, it's like we're all we got. Tammy Sue's gone. It's just, and
Tammy Sue.
Someone in the chat room mentioned how we called Jordan Tammy Sue, and he called Ben Ollie. Which I forgot he had a different name.
Their actual names.
Yeah, you can tell, and I was really surprised to see that level of emotion. That was when he said that was a really emotional moment for him. And I feel like Clyde only gets that way when he's scared, when he's legitimately fearful, because I think when Ben had his breakdown, it was the first time that Clyde really, even though he tried to cover up for him, I think it was the first time that Clyde was really shocked into understanding the kind of damage that he'd done to his son. And I think that kind of snapped him out of his, I've always done what was best for you as a father kind of a attitude. And I think that snapped him backwards. And from that point on, he's really, I think, taken a more realistic view of the landscape and what's been going on with Ben. And Justin took the words out of my mouth, where it's like for who Clyde is, he was actually being, I think, a really good dad this week. He wanted to check on his son. He knew his son was going to be in a massive amount of pain, and he wanted to check on him. Is going on the run a good idea? No, but it's Clyde. That's how he deals, and even like offering to kill the guy for Ben is Clyde's own way of protecting his son.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting that he was saying, let me do it, as opposed to like encouraging Ben to do it and get revenge, sort of like egging him on. So I thought that was a really nice twist, where he was like, you have this life that you built, don't necessarily screw it up, like let me do the dirty work kind of a thing. Like I agree this guy needs to pay and he needs to be killed, but like let me do it for you, essentially.
Yeah.
Okay, well, bye.
So there was a question in the chat room that actually I can't answer. What is Clyde in jail for? What did he finally get busted for?
The first time?
Well, this
they've just been at this point, they've just been tacking stuff onto his sentence for this, that, and the other times he's tried to escape and has escaped. Right. The first time he went away back when he was with Kay, I think they caught him on drug trafficking charges.
Yeah, I think it was the drugs.
Also, did he ever get punished for being, like, he hired someone to do it, but it was his goon that killed EJ, or that killed EJ.
That's still the secret. I believe that's still a secret. I don't think that's been like revealed. Yeah. I think that's sort of still a secret. I don't think anyone knows about that.
Who stabbed Sonny? Didn't one of Clyde's people stab Sonny too? Wasn't that another unpunished crime?
Yeah.
That was unpunished, but I think that was at least known.
Oh, okay. Huh. But yeah. That's all I got to say about it.
Yeah.
I'm just
We'll see. We'll see what Clyde does.
Yeah.
Did you guys also catch that they were the only 3 people to escape from prison?
Yeah,
of course they were. Yeah.
I'm like, so everyone else in jail was just like, nope.
We're gonna stay.
Like no one else tried to. I guess and then they all do the foolish thing of heading to Salem.
And straight to like their son.
Yeah, which is
a number 1 victim, and to that, like whatever.
A little on the nose,
yeah, very on the nose, yeah.
Predictable, yes, but at least with Clyde, I got to say, "Aw." Whereas
he's up to something else, right?
He's definitely up to something else. He's always got an agenda, but I like that his first priority was getting to Ben.
Yeah. Okay.
And that he showed appreciation for Sierra. I like that he, he didn't continue to go on and on, like saying no, like no woman would be good enough for Ben. No, he recognized that Sierra
we saw that
back
back when Sierra was trying to save Ben, that he kind of softened, Clyde kind of softened his opinion of Sierra because he saw how dedicated she was to saving Ben. So that's what got Sierra into Clyde's good graces.
Yeah, and for all of Clyde's bluster and stuff, Ben needs people in his corner, and I think that's why Eli let him off the hook when he was in that room, because he's like he's trying to be another person in Ben's corner, which I appreciate.
Yeah, and also considering what Ben is going through.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well that was that. Belle, Shawn, and Jan.
So
storyline should have died 20 years ago.
So Jan brought the crystal to give to Claire.
Yes, Michael Mattis.
That's what happened?
Yeah.
Yes, in the middle of the night.
In the middle of a blackout.
Huge.
In the middle of a black. Maybe she was already on her way there. I don't know.
Meteorite. She brought her. Yeah.
I'm sorry, but $39.99 my fanny. That costs $8 at Ross.
I did like when Jan freaked out because Belle was like, "You're never gonna have Shawn." Remember that? She was like, "Stop it!" I was like, "Okay, I like a little crazy Jan going on."
I want to ask: Is this the first time we've got actual confirmation? I know we've always thought and suspected, but is this the first time we've actually got confirmation that she is after Shawn again and
no?
I think
together?
it was in another conversation with with Xander on the phone.
Okay.
Yeah, that she kind of was like, no, because because she was trying to
that's right.
Philip hires Belle as his lawyer. Now they'll drive a wedge.
Okay.
And I didn't realize what I didn't realize, and how I didn't that Belle and Shawn aren't married.
Yeah, I was surprised about that too. I thought maybe they got remarried off camera or something, but
oh, they're not married.
That was significant.
Yeah, no, their divorce went through a couple years ago.
Yeah, they got divorced originally, but I thought they maybe got married off camera since they've been back together. But I feel like that was a significant little line there of okay, because now they're together, but there isn't a marriage that's tying them together.
Mm-hmm.
Which, given the fact that these are filler episodes and we're just kind of throwing out little tidbits here and there, I feel like that was a very pointed thing to put in there.
Yeah.
That'll come back later.
Yeah.
I mean, we all know that she's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. But then the whole discovery that Jan was there was, first of all, I was like, Lord, on top of Salem PD not being able to solve many crimes, but y'all also got bad Wi-Fi to where Shawn D suddenly got all the notifications and then
that's
decided to go home.
Okay, so the Ring camera operates on a battery.
Yeah.
But then the Wi-Fi needs to be on for it to be working. So does their Wi-Fi operate on a battery too? Because when my power goes out, we don't have internet.
No,
you hotspot off your phone, and then that's not the Wi-Fi that my Ring camera is connected to. But then he did say it was delayed, so maybe so you just have to be like,
they don't know how electricity works here.
They don't know how.
Maybe it came through because of data. He switched from Wi-Fi to his data.
How about we just lock the front door?
Yeah,
Jan could have gotten into the front
door unlocked in a blackout.
Walk into your house, yeah.
And who walks into somebody's house in the middle of the night in a blackout with a flashlight talking about, "Oh, hello,"
and
and then wouldn't leave? Like Belle was like, "You need to go. You need to leave." No, I'm gonna wait for her here. I was like,
"Trespass
bitch."
much?
It's like, bitch, if you don't get that crystal and leave, you got to go. But then she later imagined hitting Belle over the head with it. I'm like, girl, this is all kinds of crazy. Okay, that's it, right?
Yep.
All right, y'all, we're pushing through. Last thing.
Not done yet?
Nope.
It's gonna take 1 minute.
Claire and Charlie. Charlie, if you can't figure out how to get out of first of all, that door ain't that locked. There's no doot doot to get into that door or anything. I would have been everybody was kung fu fighting that door down.
Mm-hmm.
Who else was waiting for the door to slam shut after him and Claire bumped into each
Oh.
other. Yeah, I was like, they're going to be locked in
No,
there. Yeah.
I was waiting for the door to slam again when she left, and then she remembered to keep it open.
Did you see she closed it almost? Like I was like, why are you touching
And then
the
she was
door?
like,
She closed it halfway. And then went back.
But I was also kind of like, Charlie, I know that you're trying to be like a dedicated intern, but it's a blackout.
Yeah.
And
Go
there's
home.
also even in a blackout, there's this thing in corporate buildings called security.
Yeah.
Ugh,
Security went home.
yeah,
You hear about security?
Dead. Home. Off.
ugh.
But I think that was another setup of like a Charlie,
Yeah.
Claire, something.
Yeah.
Okay, so because I love having questions to the room, including the chat room,
Yes.
are we yay or nay on CC, Charlie and Claire?
I'm willing to see where it goes.
If it moves quickly.
I'm yay on this version of Charlie. I feel like we're going to get another version of him, but I like this version of him with Claire.
That seemed like it hurt Michael Madison.
Yeah, it did.
I will say I'm for this because I don't think I would have been for it if I'm for it with the new Claire. Like I'm like, oh, okay, I think this could work, or this will be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with it.
Yeah, they're cute together.
Sally, what do you think?
I think we gotta move this along.
Well, yeah, that's the case with a lot of what happened.
Like I could do with filler for these next 2 weeks. You know, I'm good with that, but it really felt like wasted screen time.
No.
Like
this,
which is more setup. Yeah.
Oof.
This week,
like it was not even a little bit set up. Like we got a few tidbits here and there from other storylines. This was like mute button.
There was someone, some people, as I was promoting the show, some people were like, this week was awful. I was fast forwarding through it so much that I just stopped watching. I was like, y'all, you can't stop watching. You at least just have to have it on in the background. Let Days get their ratings, because these are the same people who are going to be like, well, why did Days get canceled? Because remember those couple of storylines you didn't watch and you just decided to stop? That's why.
Yeah, and let's give credit where credit is due. That daytime players were the first to go back to work during this pandemic. They were basically the guinea pigs for prime time. So let's give them their due.
Also, I'm going to say this. We usually don't do like spoilers, but it's already been announced that there's a new Theo who got casted. It's not me, but there's a new Theo. And I've already been seeing fans say, I don't like this Theo. He hasn't even aired yet.
Yeah.
He hasn't even come on screen.
Yeah.
He hasn't even uttered a line. He hasn't even come on into Salem and said, Heidi ho, guess who's back? Like, he hasn't said anything. And everyone's already like, I don't like it. I'm like, ugh. So
that's typical though with recasts. Like there's always an immediate like, nope. But
so it's like, I said all this to say this. Give it a chance.
Yeah.
And by give it a chance, don't give it the first episode, the first line. Give it a couple of weeks. Give it a month.
Exactly.
For you to allow yourself to make a decision about the latest edition. You know, we love Kyler. We loved his portrayal. He won an Emmy for it. He was the only person who won an Emmy that year. So it's like, give the new guy a chance before you automatically decide that you don't like it.
And also, like, the people that we love who have portrayed these characters are being, these new people, these new actors who are coming in are being cast by those same people. So these are, you know what I mean? If we trust them enough to love, you know, they've cast previously, like, let's give them a chance and think that they're going to do the same and write by these characters.
Now listen.
And I will say, let's put the reminder out there that because Days is on a different schedule, they're now back at square one with all the other soaps where they're playing 4 to 6 weeks ahead of time and not 8 months ahead of time, let's just remind people they have a chance to reverse course more quickly if they need to. So let's give them that chance if they need to. That's what ended up happening with Brandon Barash, where they had that storyline, they killed off Stefan, and the backlash was so swift, but there was no time to fix that. So they had to they had to revamp and put in a whole new character to bring him back. So now they have a little more time or like a shorter time to reverse course if they need to. Probably won't need to at this point. So let's give everybody a chance to, just let everybody work. We're in a pandemic. If people are working, I'm happy.
Agreed.
Listen, I'm glad they're adding characters. I'm glad they're adding a Black character back to the show. Like, I welcome Theo or anyone else they want to bring on to make sure.
Yeah, agreed. Okay. That was your week of days. Lord, we made it through, y'all.
One thing. Can we give a little shout out to new Jennifer, the 2 minutes or 30 seconds we got of her?
Yes. She actually, you know what? I will say that's great casting because not that they look exactly alike, but it's kind of like, oh, I can see you as Jennifer.
Yeah.
Like
she looked really good.
Yeah, and I feel like she kind of has that spunk and chemistry like Missy had with Matthew Ashford. So I think so far so good. Y'all know me.
Yeah.
Just a fan with open arms.
And this is not a newbie. They knew they needed to get someone in there lickety split who was just going to pick it right up and do the job and get what needs to get done. And we saw her for like 2 minutes, but I'm already going to say it's like, I love her. I just miss seeing her on my screen so much.
Lord, everyone's already talking about, I miss Missy. Like, y'all, she was on on screen for 2 seconds. Like, come on, y'all.
Guys, this isn't permanent. Missy's gonna come back, but you know what? I think she wants to be with her grandbabies. Let's just give her that time. And the fact that they're allowing her that time, I think, is very nice. They don't do that with everybody.
It's also a pandemic, y'all. So there's a lot to figure out. Like, it's not, it's Missy would have to travel.
Missy gets to spend time with her grandbabies.
Yes. So
she gets to be with her family. Katie gets to work. It's a win-win.
Right. One of the things that we forgot to mention during the Ben and Clyde was the Sierra coming back as a vision or something, basically urging him to not do anything, to not kill again, and to make a promise that he's not going to do that. But he's so hurt. He's so hurt that she got taken away from him. And I still don't, no one knows for sure. I'm with Ben. I'm like, I don't think she did. I think they're just trying to figure out what the next step is as far as the character.
Yeah.
She's
not dead.
No.
Yeah. And whatever plans.
She's in the bunker on Ben Weston Island.
Oh my gosh.
And we don't know, we have no idea what the writers are. And this is not me pontificating. I've looked at spoilers. I've tried to look. We don't know what the writers have in store for Ben, and we don't know if whatever they had planned pre-pandemic is going to turn out the same way, So everybody's kind of got thrown for a loop. So I my only wish is that we get Ben some more friends. Let's build up his support system.
Will's gone now. So left.
Okay. I'm with you on that. Yeah. Side note, because of Michael Mattis's Nancy Drew skills, who discovered Ben Weston Beach on Catalina Island.
I was watching KTLA and they were showing Catalina Island and they showed it on the weather map. And I was like, does that say Ben Weston Island? And
what?
They kept it on for a minute and I was like, Yeah, so I Googled it, and that's why I posted it. I thought it was just a little fun, like, little thing to giggle about.
Well,
And
guess
then Rob
what?
tweeted about it. Then Ron tweeted about it. Then Soap Hub wrote an article about it. I'm like, okay. And then
And
Catalina Island tweeted us.
yes,
that?
I almost wanted to be like Catalina Island. Can we like go for free?
Yeah.
Can we get that fee waived and like have
We
accommodations
broadcast
and
from,
things?
do a special
Uh,
broadcast.
Coming to you, can you imagine if, okay, what I'm about to say,
Tony, let's plan it.
What
Let's
I'm about to
plan
say,
it.
somebody
Sorry,
take this snippet of this video and tweet it to the Catalina people. But
Tourism board.
can you imagine if we did a live broadcast from Ben Weston Island and had Victoria Conifel and Rob on?
And Rob in a bathing suit.
I love that you added that in there.
I kid you not, Tony. I think my heart just skipped a beat.
I would like that would be hilarious. Like even if they set it up, like we could spend like the weekend there, we could do the show, we can have them like Rob and his girl and Victoria and some friends, like we were all there, but we just had to do the show there. It would be hilarious.
Let's make that happen.
Brunch. Let's do brunch. Let's have a day at the beach. I'd love it.
Spectrum celebrity events.
Hilarious. The hilarity of, oh my God,
You just spoke it into existence, Justin.
I hope
Fingers crossed.
Scott and Matt of Spectrum Celebrity Events is listening, because I think next year you need to have an event at Ben Weston Island featuring Victoria Conifel and Robert Scott Wilson.
We got built-in marketing here.
I'm just saying. Okay, anyway, moving on with the rest of our show, because I just thought about Panda Express and that sounds really good. So I think we're gonna get that afterwards. So let's get into our segments, and we're gonna start with mine, which is Tony's official 3 Snaps Award. Oh, snap! All right, so listen, y'all. My 3 Snaps Award goes to Lindsay Godfrey, who plays Sarah Horton, because when you can resist a man like Xander and send him to the guest room so that you aren't tempted to touch him because you're mad at him, and you are just like looking at him and saying you're standing there looking all good and stuff, but I'm still mad at you, but you can still control your man and tell him, get. I was like, yes, because this week was the only thing that made me go, yes, come on, Sarah, control your man and control you. So, Lindsay Godfrey, Sarah Horton, you get Tony's official 3 Snaps Award. Snap! All right, and now it's time for Caption That.
All right, this week's Caption That photo is courtesy of Chad and Dr. Rolf and Billy with his little open robe there. And this week's caption goes to our mother, James Lott Jr., with his caption, Rolf, I'm sorry, but it's not my fault you can't grow chest hair.
Oh.
Bloop.
Yes, Billy Flynn for the chest hair.
And
oh my gosh, this is on record of me giving Billy Flynn a compliment. Someone's gonna tweet that. All right, and that has been Caption That. And now we have 2 additions today. We're going to start with Those Were the Days.
Yes. Give me Edith Bunker. Okay. On this week's edition, Those Were the Days, I decided to focus on Lonnie and Shawn. What made me think about this is when Lonnie walked into the precinct, I forget which day, she was having like a general conversation with Shawn about the breakouts. And once they were talking, I was like, oh yeah, they used to date. And it started getting me thinking about Lonnie when she first came on, how different her character was. She had a bit more edge to her. And when she was dating Shawn, she was a tad bit possessive of him and a little stalkery. This is when Shawn and Belle were on a break, basically. And started getting me thinking about the character. Then I felt like she went away after Shawn and Belle reconciled, came back to the show after Abe got shot. And I felt like they softened her character a little bit too much. And it was like, the daughter of Abe. Abe's the quintessential nice guy. She's on the police force. She's kind of going through these storylines with JJ and whatnot. And then with Eli, and then I felt like what's giving her a little bit more of that edge back that I saw back when she was sort of pursuing Shawn is this friendship with Kristen. And I feel like it's giving her a little bit more of like, she's more than just kind of, I mean, Lonnie's a great character, but I feel like I was needing something a little bit more from her. And I feel like this friendship is giving me a little bit of the edge that I used to see on Those Were the Days when she was pursuing Shawn, and a little bit excessive and a little crazy. So yeah.
And those were the days.
Oh, I love that.
And now it's time for It's a Gift.
So my week's, in my opinion, most giftable moment, you can read it yourself. I put the captions on it. It said when Abigail basically called out Chad on his lack of education and lack of preparedness for his very lofty position. And I'm just like, this is the question I've been asking for every single Kyriakis and Dimera of the last 30 years.
Wow.
They don't get jobs because of their education. They get the jobs because of who their parents are.
Exactly. And I was
like, that's a soap opera thing. Like the Newmans on YNR. They didn't go to college.
Abigail was really
Victoria
checking
did.
Chad this week. She was really like, let's get things in perspective. Like, you just got here a few years ago yourself, and like takes the new guy. Like, let's like get some perspective.
Did anybody else double check the photo in the background to make sure that was the Marcy version?
Oh, is it? It could be. Yeah, right.
It's Marcy, but
my gosh, we'll see.
Because I looked at it, I was like, oh, there's that picture again.
It'd be cute if they kept switching it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if they're gonna do anything with that. Like that happened, and then.
You know what? I will give you this tidbit. I don't think so, because in our virtual Q&A with Kate Mancy, I brought it up, and Kate actually had heard about it. She didn't know that they were going to do that.
Was she like, "Where's my check?"
Right.
But
that's an episode.
But yeah, she was like, I hadn't heard anything. So I think that was just to the two Abigails, and I think that's it.
Yeah.
I wanted a purpose behind it. I don't like it when they do that. When they do the winks to the audience, like when Kyle Lauder started as Rex, and they had that Rex, like, Brady, Rex. I was like,
But then again, we don't know, because that was pre-pandemic.
Yeah.
And now we're post-pandemic, so maybe after the filler, maybe, I don't know.
We'll see. Regardless, I think that this applies to all facets of life and can be applied to beyond soaps, any TV show, if you want to pull it. Basically, this I think it was a moment where you could pull it out of your hat in the middle of a Twitter argument. Yeah.
There we go. And that has been It's a Gift. I'm working on it. See if that happens. All right. So there is Me World thought this week was too boring and didn't have a old shiz moment of the week. He tweeted it all out. And so there is no old shiz moment of the week, but we do have a little bit of news and gossip for you.
Yes, Sue, just a reminder that the next virtual Q&A presented by our Spectrum Celebrity Events friends will be with Stacey Hayduke and will take place Friday, November 13th. For some reason, I feel like that's very appropriate for Stacey. I don't know.
And all her characters.
I don't know. It's the right vibe. I think it's something Stacey would appreciate. But tickets for the Q&A are $58 and can be purchased at SpectrumCelebrityEvents.com. And lastly, Starstruck Fan Events will be holding their annual Jekyll Island event, barring any COVID BS that goes on. January 23rd and 24th, 2021. In attendance will be Eric Martsolf, Stacey Hayduke, Matt Ashford, Judy Evans, Brandon Barash, and Emily O'Brien. For tickets, go to, this will be the weekend of January 23rd and 24th, 2021. For tickets and more info, visit starstruckfanevents.com. Hopefully this event can go off as planned.
Yes, because they had to cancel one due to COVID.
They did the Florida one with Rob and Victoria and all them.
So there is that. And before we part ways with you all, it is now time to see what's coming up next week on your favorite NBC #1 hit award-winning soap opera, Days of Our Lives.
There it is.
Evening, ma'am. I'm from Salem Gas and Electric.
Oh my God, he's gone. I'm gonna find the guy. I'm gonna track him down. Where are you going to find a woman who would carry Stefano's clone?
No.
Like I said, ew.
No.
We did the storyline already.
Big nope.
There's a lot to unpack there.
Like, I just can't.
Part 1 has me really confused, and part 2 is like, ew.
No more Stefano clones.
No.
Let the man rest in peace.
I'm so over.
Days J said Rolf with the Instant Pot.
With his rice cooker.
Oh gosh.
Okay, so why would Clyde want Henry Horton? There's no, I'm trying to think, what's the connection or vengeance or something?
Kate
there,
is the only connection.
Which one? Sorry.
Kate.
But that's a stretch. She's the great
Yeah,
grandmother.
I know. That's the only thing, like maybe
Or
he's
money,
gonna,
maybe.
yeah, for money. That's about
maybe,
all I can.
to like fund his escape.
Yeah, I guess they could. I mean, normally would probably expect something a little more spectacular, but I guess they just want something really simple that kind of fails instantly to just wrap it up.
Oh man,
I'm excited to see Kate though. I mean, I something different.
But Kate, like, girl, you don't need to be shooting nobody. Like, you already got off for shooting Vivian.
I feel like she'd get away with shooting Clyde though. With shooting, I feel like they'd be like,
do you think she shot Clyde?
Yes.
I don't think it's Clyde.
I would just I feel like even if she was in a really, unless she was in like the most dangerous position in the world, I feel so like having a gun that close to a baby. I'm like,
the chat room is all confused as to what they just saw. So I guess that just means we have to tune in next week.
I guess so.
Well, that has been your week of days. Before we head out, Michael Mattis, tell the kind folks where they can find you.
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at MLMattis.
Araceli, let the kind folks know where they can find you.
You can find me on Twitter at Tia323 Araceli, Arceli.
And of course, Justin, where can they cyberstalk you?
You can cyberstalk me on Instagram at Justin Lee Harold.
Oh, okay, that was quick and simple.
Yeah.
And you can find all of us on Facebook and Instagram, Dishin Days or _Dishin Days on the Twitter. You can also find us right here on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe and click the thumbs up button to show your support. Yep, everyone always wonders how they can support. Follow us on all social media platforms. And of course, you can find Lelo Chocolate Me on all social media platforms at Lounging with Tony. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to another live, or even if you're watching later, full recap of this week's episodes of your favorite soap opera, Days of Our Lives. We will be back next Sunday for another full dish of what's going to happen next week on Days. Until then, have a safe, wonderful week. Don't forget to vote. Don't forget to wear your mask and wash your hands. Bye, everybody.
Everyone.
Keep waving, everybody, till I find the button.
Bye.